I know it's very late. Hi.
I got so scared, UK.
I'm very good. Why are you scared? Because I'm calling you late at night?
Yes.
I'm live.
Okay.
I'm live on YouTube, and you are too. So
YouTube.
yeah, I just have a question for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
did I wake you up? No, you
No,
were on,
no, Jim, no.
you were online. What time is it in the UK?
1:38 a.m.
1:38 a.m.
Yeah.
So say hi to everybody. This is Karolina.
Hello, everybody.
Sorry to call a married woman at this time, but
What's the live about?
we are talking about the royal frog. The
Damn.
and I was like, let me call somebody from the UK to have their opinion about the situation and just say how they feel about that thing. Like, before I give my opinion to everybody, I wanted to also hear the opinions of ladies. Maybe you are a pro Meghan Markle or a pro Harry Windsor Harold, or maybe not. Maybe you just, or maybe you were and you changed opinions. And I just wanted.
I was.
Oh, you were.
And now I'm more. I was, yeah. So now I'm more of a neutral ground, on a neutral ground.
So what made you go, what made you go from
To be fair, actually, let me rectify that. I think I'm still a pro Harry.
Okay.
I was pro Meghan, but I've switched over on her. But I'm still a pro Harry, to be fair. But what made me switch? You asked. What made me switch? So it's just all the dramas going behind it. So I haven't actually watched the Keeping Up with the Kardashian type of series, so I don't quite know what they talk about. But it seems like there's a lot of drama going around, and
What do you mean there's a lot of drama going around?
It just seems like it's a lot, like all the complaint, all the this and that. I do truly believe, what I want to believe at least, that Harry's been manipulated onto saying those things about his family. Yes, he wanted out for a long time. Yes, he's been, he's been feeling a certain way for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a way to go about this. Like, I've seen spotlight on what's been written on his book and stuff. There are details that we didn't actually need to know, honestly. Like, we could have lived without knowing. And it seems like there's this constant need to completely tear their family apart. Like, in every family, there is no one family in this planet that would step up and say, my family, there's never been an issue, we've never fought, we've never argued, we've never done ABC. Do you know what I mean? Like, when there's people, it's part of the human nature to clash. It's a normal thing, because we all have emotions, and based on that, my thought and your thought may not align. It's okay to agree to disagree. So I feel like there's just too much. So now I'm still pro Harry. To be fair, I feel sorry for him.
So you feel sorry for Harry. So why am I taking your accent? Somebody just said, I love her accent.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sure she's abusing the accent because she knows she's live.
What?
Wait, so when you speak Lingala, do you have a UK accent?
No, hell no. When I speak Lingala, I hope I sound Congolese enough.
So say something in Lingala just to
very Chinoise. Huh? Nalobani.
Oh, yeah. She's...
Nalobi que Harry na Meghan ba problème belé ba bazon Samson ni tout pas sinon hambazuloba. British or
Oh my God.
I think I sound proper Congolese when I speak Lingala, to be fair.
Yep, listen. Way better than me. giving you that.
Yeah, I'll take that any days.
All right.
Yeah.
So if I understand what you were saying, you mean that when the couple started a few years ago now, 4 or 6 years ago, I don't know, you were absolutely happy about the idea that I mean, personally, I didn't really care of the fact that she was a black woman and marrying the monarchy, etc. I was just happy for. I mean, I didn't know her especially. Somebody
So you
said
never watched her TV show? Apparently, she was big.
she went from London to Kinshasa real quick. Hey, Congolese women. I'm sure when she's insulting somebody, goes.
It's a quick switch over. It happens without thinking too much, you know?
So
That's all.
I'm looking for your Instagram to show your picture so that people know who they're talking to.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Just
fine.
show my latest picture, please, when you do that.
What is your Instagram?
Karolina, avec un K, bien sûr, point GTR.
.gtr. There you go. So let's see the latest picture. Ooh la la. This one?
Let's see.
Too much boobs.
What?
Okay, I'll put this one. No problem.
I mean, it looks more like me now than anything.
All right. So this is who we're talking to. The first comment on top is me. My wife is gonna be like, "Who's this?" A bit. It's my cousin from Kin.
Of course.
Let me take a screenshot of that photo so I can my stream can look professional as I'm talking to you. There you go. Okay. On the phone. There she is. So, as I was saying,
I'm listening.
when they started dating, were you happy? Were you feeling like, oh my God, this is so cool?
Absolutely. I was actually happy because you think about it, in the history of the royal family, there's never been a black person in there, as far as I'm aware. So representation matters, you know. So yeah.
Why is the chat is saying she's a vraie Quinoise? What's wrong with you guys? We're talking about important subject and you hear about she's a vraie Quinoise. Of course, les Quinois sont contents. Look at you guys.
Of course.
Yeah, she's
representing,
beautiful.
always.
Tous les cas. So, but when did you start changing your opinions? Okay, when did you start saying to yourself, that girl, I don't know?
I think so. At first, with the initial dramas that came up, I mean, the initial incident that happened regarding the child's color, regarding the child's features, and everything else, I felt for her. There's no discussion about this. Like, it is true that obviously there's an element of racism in the UK, in the monarchy most probably, but that's normal. They've never had, although the UK have been receiving people from all backgrounds for years, in their own household they've never actually had someone like that being part of their family. So obviously it's a new something to them. It's all nice to be like, I'm not racism, unless you have to like be there personally. So I understood her and I felt for her, because it is true, it's challenging. It's challenging to feel a certain way. To be fair, I was in Congo, being light skinned in Congo, mixtures, on me considérait comme Ndele.
Oh yeah?
D'accord? I was Ndele Madesu over there. Me coming over, it's a shock. Me
For
coming
real?
over, because, yeah, you come over and it's just like, you're no longer that. Now I need to find myself anymore. I need to find myself again, And like, being mixtures, I always say being mixtures is the most challenging race anyone can be.
Yeah.
because you do not know where you fit. You have to make a choice. You know, when you're born black, you know I belong here straight away. You're born white, you know I belong here straight away. But when you're mixed, it's your choice with what you associate yourself or relate yourself more. Like,
and people want to make you choose.
I'm happy to say I'm Congolese, I'm African, full stop. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what I relate to. That's how I feel the most.
Okay.
You know.
But so, you still half Greek.
Sorry.
You still half Greek.
I am half Greek, but I do not know much about the culture, the Greek culture. I don't know much about the country, the people, anything like that. I mean, my first time in Greece, I did feel the racism was really strong. So I'm
changing your photo, by the way.
And I didn't put my feet back there until 2019.
I'm putting a new photo. I like this one better.
Oh, okay. Which one is that? That's the old one you're about to put.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry. You'll watch the live again. You'll watch the live when it's over.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I'll watch it. But yeah, so
I like this one better. I like talking to this one better. Hi.
Oh,
hey. Hi, white dress. Yeah.
Let's show it. Okay, that's perfect. I can see actually the white one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Cool. Yeah. So what was I saying? I said being mixtures is challenging.
Les amis sont jolis.
So merci.
It's a real psychological problem being mixed.
It is. It really is. And so I understood her challenge. I don't know her story much, to be honest. I didn't know her before she entered the royal family. So
yeah, me neither.
I was happy.
I
was happy.
I know she was an actress from Suits. But I
never watched Suits, to be fair.
I watched a few episodes, but I was not a fan of that series or whatever. So I didn't really know her that much. So I just saw that he find himself a nice métis. I was happy for him. I was like,
it's a happy moment. We get to a bit of our DNA enter the royal family, and I was like, one day, who knows, the next king in probably like 120, 200 years, maybe dark skin, and it was a moment of hope, I was like, oh, game changers,
Yeah.
But it's just,
black skin, I don't think so, but hey, who knows?
I mean, I was hoping, maybe there will be, we just never know, who would have thought that one day, a mixed person would enter, although she didn't actually feel like she never had to have the race discussion until she came to the UK, apparently. So,
So do you believe that it's a shock of culture? Or especially for her who's an American, Californian, very woke, etc., and they live for being victims all the time. And arriving in the UK, all of a sudden, maybe she thought that I'm marrying a royalty, so I made it. And all of a sudden, there's all the scrutiny, and especially I know in the US, the paparazzis have all the rights. You cannot do nothing to them. They can follow you around. You get out your house, they're here. You go anywhere, they're here. They take pictures of you all the time. They post it, they sell it. This is a business that is protected there. So you arrive in the UK where the tabloids exist. Of course it's different because it's the UK tabloids, but to me it's like being with me. I'm Kaysha. You have something with me. Yeah, it's me. It's gonna come with stuff that is different from other boyfriends.
True.
That are not famous. If it's an athlete, somebody is in the media, or an artist, if you are with Kaysha, you're gonna know that now everything you do when I'm not here, if somebody sees it, they're gonna try to do something with it. And when we are together somewhere, you're gonna know that, even if people pretend they don't see us, they see us. So if we argue somewhere and you are extra and you are just starting to yell in the restaurant and throw stuff, you know that this will be on Talent de Kine and all these places. because it's you are with a celebrity,
A public person,
a
yes.
public person. So how you gonna pretend that you don't understand what's going on?
I mean, to this aspect, I would probably... So I'm 50-50. See, I have mixed feelings toward this because there's stories about, the royal families and like story that goes out because he had to be run through the office and someone needed to approve it. And apparently they chose to throw under the bus every single time so they can, distract the rest of the population to the real matters,
Yeah.
And you see things like, to be fair, I do think that the newspapers and everything took really advantage of it in a sense where they really took it too far. Even like when she was pregnant, rubbing her belly, and they're having a go at her because she's rubbing the belly. They're saying that she was doing the most, but every pregnant woman would be rubbing their belly, for example. Anyone else that rub their belly is fine as long as you're not Meghan Markle. Do you know what I mean? So in that aspect, I do
when Beyonce was
understand it.
When Beyonce was pregnant, they were saying that it was fake.
Yeah.
And they had everybody was having their theories. It's part of being in the hyper famous. When you go on that level, it comes with the territory. You have no idea how many times I wanted to go down there, buy some bread at the bakery in like 100 meters from my house, and go in pajamas without brushing my teeth, with still some drool on the side of my mouth, and like really going, looking like a bum. And every time I did it, somebody was there at 8 a.m. Oh my God, can I make a photo? And I was like, oh my God. So I learned that, even if it's just to go get some bread quick, I'm gonna have to bring my glasses, be ready, and clean myself a little bit. No, don't go in pajamas. Put my jeans on, or a jogger, something that looks nice, because a picture is possible as soon as I leave my house. And sometimes you forget yourself that you are that celebrity. So you're a normal person, and you just go, and then you're like, oh, I look horrible. So
I think that's where the problem comes as well. Like for someone that's non-public, which doesn't qualify to her.
Exactly.
Someone that's non-public that's what they always say, be mindful of what you wish for, because people see celebrities and public figures, and it's like, oh, I want to be like that. They don't do this. It's an easy life, but it comes with its challenges, and the challenges being you will never have your privacy. You won't be able to live your life the way you do, because the moment you go into a public eye, everyone feels entitled to your privacy. They feel entitled to know what's going on in your life. They don't care about your privacy. You're no longer a human in their eyes. You become an object. You become an element of distraction, of entertainment, that they want to have access to it every time and any time. Back in the days, we didn't have social media, so it was a bit of a distance, to reach a celebrity. Now we have social media. You can track them. You can follow them. You
send them millions of messages.
Right? In real time. Back in the days, you would find in a magazine that they passed through here. So it was like a distance. You're like, one day they were here, but it doesn't come at you in real time information kind of time. Do you know what I mean? So it comes with its challenging. I get that. I don't know what she was expecting when she was coming to UK. Maybe she thought it would be like un prince à New York, une princesse à Londres. Who knows? She came, maybe she thought, I'm going to get there, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, blah, blah, blah. Beautiful, whatever she thought. But to me, it's like you're a celebrity as it is, and you should have an idea. And if you're coming into a royal family, it's more than just being a celebrity.
Sorry, there's a message. I think there's a message for you.
There is.
Depuis au Bois Kanga na désert, soki une candidate na boye à Monanaki Mbele Libala 100% sans hésitation. J'en suis Shada. Shada. What's wrong with these people in the chat?
Depuis au Bois Kanga na désert, ceux qui ne candidatent, I'm dead. I am dead. This is hilarious. That is hilarious. But yeah, so
Kendrick says,
was,
I think the tabloids are different than, say, TMZ. They are more like
yes,
the New York
absolutely.
Inquirer, maybe.
The
Yeah,
what? Sorry, I didn't catch
the
that.
New York Inquirer in the U.S. And
Okay, I don't know about them,
I
but
don't really
yeah.
know about the tabloids in the UK. I know that the ones in Paris, like Ici Paris, for example, they invent stuff. They they invent stuff, but they are not. They don't have a large circulation, and people when they buy them, most people know that it's satire or that you can't believe them. I think in the US they are way, way, way more an institution. They are way more people follow them way more. It feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but to me, I believe that. Bonsoir, la garder. I believe that. I mean, listen. I come from. I try to understand people instead of judging them, and
Yeah, that's a thing.
I try to understand people using also my experience. So,
Yeah.
me coming from, we don't have a royal family in Congo,
No.
but back then we had the royalty, which was if you are coming from the government families,
Your royalty.
you royalty.
Sure.
So I was born in there. That was not my choice. That was not. It was just like that. I grew up with the childrens of the royalties from the Mobutu family, the Lito, and I mean my name itself is royalty in Congo. Everybody know who my father is. Everybody know who I am before me being famous. So I kind of understand what it is to have the pressure of everything you do will reflect on your family.
Absolutely.
But maybe because I have those Bantu values, even if I'm super frustrated with something with my family, in terms of the hierarchy in the way I do things and the way I see everything, the respect of the name that my parents built is more important to me than my own feelings.
Okay.
That's the way I'm just programmed. It doesn't mean that my brothers and sisters are this way. Some of them, it varies. And in all our families, we all had some people who are extra, I would say, extra to the, I would say, respectful of the code, and others that don't care. And I've seen this with everybody I grew up with. We don't really realize that we are royalty in the beginning because we are too young to realize it. And then, by the time you are 15 and you start realizing that, listen, the majority of the population, and like people don't like to say this, but I think Africa and Congo has a caste system just like India. And some people, if you are there, some people are in a certain level, and some people, when they talk to you, they kind of feel down already, and they put themselves in this position. It's something, because I grew up in France, it was strange to me. I was like, I grew up in a country that everybody was saying that equality is important between everybody, so I believe in equality.
Okay.
But when I arrive in Congo, I don't feel equal to other people.
Yeah.
And it bothers me. but it is just different out there. And for us who have double culture, sometimes we have to struggle with that because we are a little bit Europeans, we are a little bit Congolese. We don't know sometimes, and some people will choose one side, some others will choose the other side. But me, I know one thing is that the respect of and the respect of my family name and making sure that I don't, comment on dit entaché, that I don't
entice.
I don't know. Je veux pas salir. You know, like.
Tu veux pas salir. Entaché. Okay, you don't want to stain.
Exactly. I don't want to put a stain on my father's name in anything that I do. Anything. Soon as I got famous by myself, there's millions of things that were proposed to me, from drugs to orgies to this and that and groupies and dirty money, going in places, doing things. Every choice I made was not only based on my vision of my future, but what was also determined by, I don't want to put any stain on my father's and my mother's name. I don't want them to be ashamed of me. And this has always been and always will be my whole life the most important thing for me. So,
but would you say that is because of the value in which you were brought up? Because it seems that from what you're saying, that it seems that you were raised in a family that had like strong core values, family values. You know, you were raised by, from what I'm hearing at least, by a woman that had strong values.
Don't you know my mom?
Values, you know.
Yeah,
and they passed it down like family comes first. You need to protect you. Do you know those little things?
Of course.
Is that right?
But all of us, I mean, I think a lot of us that we have that.
Yeah.
And this is why most of us, when we date out of our ethnic groups, sometimes we end up being like, what am I doing here? Like. And sometimes, like, you have the good sides, and then sometimes you miss those things because you're gonna have somebody they talk in a way to their parents. You're gonna be like, how you talk to your mom? How nobody slapped you? Like the maid used to slap me. My parent, yeah, that's normal. Hey, go, bino, bo, libaki, go, basic. Like, this is part of our upbringing, and even if we were little princes and princesses, but we learned very early that, the whatever mom says is more important than the Bible. And
I get that.
So when I see this, when I see and I'm going to go deeper after this conversation. I'm going to go deeper with why I believe he's here. Because I've known people who were born in Congolese royalty and who struggled with mental health and actually committed suicide.
I'm glad that you're touching on the mental health because I was just about to pick up on it, but go ahead.
Because, I believe that there's a big element of that. Because of course he grew up inside of drama, and from the get-go he had to parade in front of the world where all he wanted to do was cry, but he had to stay stoic his whole life. So I believe that he was not made for that pressure, and I believe that I'm seeing somebody that needs help. That's
exactly what I see. That's why I say I feel sorry for Harry.
I would say that I feel sorry, and at the same time, I feel annoyed because I would never act this way. And I'm not trying to judge. I'm really not trying to judge. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, like, okay, there's the money element as well. And I believe that we are seeing somebody who's lost, and somebody came and said, you need a mom, I'm your mom. Take this milk coming out of my breast.
That is exactly it. That is
Libele muselulu wana milky wana. That's.
Stop.
I feel like this guy is sucking her tits at night. Yo,
No,
I mean, I'm abusing,
like, it seems but you're right. Like when you said about mental health, like the same thing. Like I have this conversation probably on a daily basis with like everyone, but mental health in Africa, it's not real. It's not considered as a real thing.
That's true. And
because it's not considered as a real thing, there is no way to tackle it. That is similar. The UK is great at promoting mental health and helping, assisting, and doing everything it must do to help the population, at least try to, right? But when it comes to the royal family, I don't know how it works. To be fair, I don't know their family, but I've recently watched The Crown and I've been told a few times that it's just a script. I shouldn't really rely on it. But what I've picked up from it is that in the royal family, mental health doesn't seem to be a real thing as well, because you are royalty. You are at the service of the nation. You do not have the right to cry. You do not have the right to do A, B, C, D. Like you literally just have to put on the mask and move on. And with that, people grow up. We all go through eventful stuff in our lives, trauma. And we go through a lot of things, and the sooner we get to process our emotion in a healthy manner, the better it is for our future. Then we grow up, we build character, we do things differently. But when you teach a child to suppress, or any human to suppress, or let's not say teach, let's say you overlook someone's emotional struggle just because you've never dealt with your own and expect them to just suppress and move forward with it, what then happen is people develop coping mechanism, which are not necessarily healthy coping mechanism. And through that, people would always have a void within themselves, and they will be searching and searching, finding something to fill the gap within themselves. And the more they're searching, that's why you get those, people, as you say, from like that came from royalty and stuff, that comes from money, that comes from big names, they tend to always fall into mental health problem, addiction, and all those stuff, because it's all a search for filling the gap within themselves, And I do believe, like, I feel like most of them in the royal family, like, they don't really get to like process their emotions, especially those on the front row, because you have to perform. You're like a monkey in the circus, if there are monkeys in the circus, at least. I've never been to one, but you're like a clown in the circus, let's put it that way. We don't care if you're well, if you're unwell. You need to stand up there.
I should call you more often. You're so smart. Sorry.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
It is. There's something that I had a conversation with one of Mobutu's daughters that I grew up with. And we were talking about that exact subject. People don't realize how it feels because we were privileged kids, born Congolese royals, born in unlimited amount of money, etc., etc. We don't have no right to complain.
Yes.
But in reality,
all that's needed.
But in reality, nobody ask you how does it feel to be scared every day of your life that your dad will die of assassination, of
at any moment.
And nobody asks you how does it feel to grow up in the middle of weapons. I grew up with armed guards my whole life, and not armed guards dressed as with a smoking and with weapons that are hidden. No, I'm talking about army gear, mitraillettes in front of my house, around my house, wherever we went. Whenever I go somewhere with my dad, there's somebody with a Uzi on the front seat ready. And I grew up like this, and nobody ever asked us how do we feel growing up like this. When the phone rings from Africa and you are 12, 13, you always ask yourself, what are they going to tell you? I grew up like this my whole life, and hoping that the voice of my mom would be, hello, it means everything's fine. And my dad now he's a senator. He's retired from main politics and stuff. But when I was younger, especially when the war started, or whenever there was something, because I had other friends that when the government switched, their parents got imprisoned. Some of them committed suicide. Some of them that got killed. I had the chance that my father was loved by the people because he comes from the people and he never forgot the people. But when there was the 86 riots, and everybody is looking for blood and going to the house of the rich people, and they're ready to sack everything, you scared for your parents, because no matter how people see them, for you, it's your parents. So when, lucky for me and lucky for them, when everybody arrived to the street of my parents, they said, oh no, that's Vieux Mokolo. He's one of us. He's always been good to us. And they didn't touch our house. But all our neighbors,
Gone.
oh, so but people don't care about the trauma of,
no,
because soon as they say
it's not a real thing.
Yeah, but and even
physical health.
But imagine even as when you are in Europe, if you look at what the people say in the magazines, the news, soon as your camp is considered the bad people, you are not humans anymore.
No.
So whatever happened to your parents is normal. They're evil. Like, do you think the Talibans don't have husbands and children that love them? Like, but the news are made for you to believe that no, those are disposable.
Yeah,
But
those news are actually designed to, win over whatever. They only display the side they want to display in order to sell whatever they want to sell and make whatever impression they want to create of some person. They will never give you a real, fair exposure, like real information, and give you a choice to choose, choice to make between, okay, I think this is better than that. Do you know what I mean?
True.
They just give you the side they want you to believe and want you to see, full stop. If you don't go do your own research, you will just hate based on the information you've been given. And it's simple as that. The moment you're a public person, the moment you are put on those magazines or you've done something wrong, you're out there, that's it. You no longer have emotion. You no longer have a family. You don't deserve to be loved. What else is it? You do not have mental health issues. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't even have the right to be healthy.
which takes me to my next point about all this. I'm sorry to keep you awake at 2 a.m., but hey, listen.
That's fine. I slept until 5 p.m., so I have energy all night.
Look at that. You see?
Lucky
They're here
days.
for me. So, and it goes with what Olga is saying. That's exactly what I was about to talk. Yeah, but his mom was the victim of the royalty, and it makes it different as well. She was, actually, he has a lot of traits from his mom, the rebellion, but the difference is that his mom was for the royalty. She wanted to be treated the way she wanted, but she was from there. So she understood the assignment as well. I believe that we are watching somebody who has been his whole life haunted by his mother's death.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I don't know, but I feel, and I listen, I might be completely wrong, But it feels to me that when you have all these little buttons that somebody can just come and click,
Yeah.
it's easy to be manipulated into
feel
believing
fulfilled.
that what happened to your mom is gonna happen to your wife if you don't do nothing, because there's all this trauma that he's been walking with. And a lot of people believe that it's great to be the second one, or the as he said, what's the name of his book,
I didn't
the
see
spare.
it, to be
It's
fair.
great to be the
Harry,
spare.
I found it.
It's a spare.
Okay.
It's great to be the spare, but so you're the spare part in case there's a problem with the number one. You're the number two ready for stuff, so you have less responsibility and stuff. But they can also be, and it's something that I'm feeling from everything that I've been watching, reading. I'm not really into it that much, but you turn on YouTube, that's all you see. So I was watching today a few opinions against and a few opinions for, and it feels to me that it can also be, when you are the number two, a feeling of jealousy as well, of
Yeah,
why
why
you
do you say jealous? I'm an only child, so I don't actually know what it feels like to be number two.
Okay, I'm number one from my mom. I got 5 after me,
Okay.
and I got I mean, we're not a dramatic family. We are actually good, but I know that my mom, when she tells me her stories with her sisters, so she has one brother and everybody else is sisters, and
Okay.
my mother and her sister after her are the one that are half Portuguese, so they are like you.
Right.
So they are the ones that are light skinned, etc., etc., and everybody else is dark skinned. And
Right.
she actually suffered colorism from her sisters.
I can imagine.
And because she was my aunt is very like light skin, but my mom took, and it's strange because my grandma is light skin, and my grandpa was white, but my mother came out a little darker, and I didn't know that at that time it was an issue in Congo, especially because we were all taught that the racism part is only happening in Europe and in the US, but actually between us it's the worst. And because my wife told me the same thing about getting beat up every day at school by all the black girls in the Quranic school in Guinea, just because she was light skinned. Yeah. So my mom was explaining to me that even her aunties and her sisters were like, yeah, you're light skinned, but you're not that light skinned. Are we sure who's your dad? Stuff like that, like a bunch of and constant and constant jealousy because she was very tall, and her father-in-law really was treating her exactly like the rest of the kids, and the rest of the kids were having issues with the idea that, yeah, why is she treated better than us? And her father-in-law was always, no, she's my daughter, she's not like being treated XYZ, she's treated like everybody else. But for them, they wanted her to be treated differently and less.
Yeah.
And when she got married to my father, who was coming from nothing, from Bandaka, from Equateur, and but he got the government, etc. He got very rich very young. Everybody wanted to at the same time profit from the money, but at the same time criticizing her for being with a black guy, and from being with somebody who and thinking that she was all that because she had money. So it's so interesting how even when you and I see it with my wife and her friends from, or her ex friends from school, because she got with me, a lot of people, instead of just being happy that she's happy, they're like, you just believe that because you Kaysha's wife, how you believe you all that. And
But the thing is, sorry to interrupt.
No,
The
go
thing
ahead.
is, what I've learned throughout the years,
Yeah.
and even more so lately, is that people tend to project their fear and their insecurity onto you.
yeah, that's true.
People tend to do that. Like, I grew up in Congo, right? I'm gonna say I was bullied my whole childhood
Oh
at
my
school
God.
because I was light skinned, because I was. It's little comments that people make into a joke. You laugh
Yeah.
about it, but you do not know how it actually impacts someone's mental health. And there again,
Exactly.
because mental health is not a real thing. It's not like I would cry and that you're too sensitive or you're playing the victim, blah 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 blah. But like, I was laughed at, bullied consistently because I was light skin. Obviously, I was picked up because I was light skinned, but also because I was really skinny. So the slim shaming, it was always on my case.
When did that bully
You know?
came out? Sorry, go ahead.
So-
Go ahead.
So like little things like that. So the little comments, things like
But-
they used to say things that aux hommes qui est la lettre I, you know what I mean? Like this kind of thing. Like, I can laugh at it now.
Bastards.
But you know, at the time, it would actually affect you. Do you know what I mean?
But wait a minute. So, at a point, you grow a booty at a point from the photos,
Yeah.
or it's Photoshop.
Nah, obviously.
Let me check if it's not Photoshop.
No, not Photoshop.
I
Never
know,
was
I'm
Photoshop.
joking. I saw you in
All
real.
natural. You know, we go to the gym. I haven't been in the gym in a year.
I know.
No
I,
one
s-
listens to
I,
that.
s- I see
You
your
know?
Instagram photos.
Yeah. We
But-
used to work out loads.
So wait a
But,
minute.
you
What type of neighborhood did you grow? Like, were you
limité,
so limited? Or that's where mine.
middle
That's
class.
what-
So it's not even
middle
like
class.
the it's
Lower
not
middle
that bad.
class, I would say.
Yeah, low
That's
middle.
where my grandma
Like,
used to
it's-
be. Lemba,
you
these
know.
places. Okay.
No, not Lemba. Like, I was literally limité, like quartier industriel. Like, literally, it was really quiet. It's like very
Okay.
nice area at the time. you know.
Okay.
Not sure how it is now, but at the time it was decent. Middle class, I'll say, a solid middle class, quiet, you know. And I went to a private school, so it
Okay,
was
so-
okay.
yeah.
You know?
But in the private
Huh?
school, everybody was bullying you.
Yeah, like everyone in my class was laughing. Like, I have this conversation nowadays with like some of my mates that I've known since primary school. Like, I have a conversation like the other day. I actually told them, I was like, what you guys did to me was bullying, you know. Now we have a name for it, but back then, you know, you'd say things
Yeah.
like that. Obviously, you hurt my feelings when I cry about it. Bilila lila. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't even allowed to feel a certain way, you know, because he was like, if you cry about it, you're too sensitive, you're too soft, this and that, you know. And you do not know what someone goes through in their household, you know. And it's like those things stays with you for a long time.
True.
Like, for a very, very long time, I suffered from extreme low self-esteem. I had no confidence within myself. In fact, me going into doing Miss Congo was simply because I wanted to build my confidence.
For
Like,
those who don't know,
actually,
you're talking to Miss Congo 2012.
no, first runner-up.
Oh, sorry.
2012. Yeah.
Nah, you were Miss
First
Congo
runner-up.
for me. I don't care.
Yeah, so
The other one was
like,
ugly.
Me entering that was
Yeah.
mainly to build up my confidence, because
Okay.
I was suffering so much throughout the years. Like, I went through depression, I went through suicide and all that, but no one knew about it. Do you know what I mean? I didn't understand what was going on within myself, and a lot of people suffer from the same thing because you don't know how to speak about it. You're in this mental cage because so many people have thrown their insecurities onto you. They're projecting their insecurities onto you, which led you to believe that this is you. In fact, you do not even know who you are. Now you are what people say you are. Do you know what I mean? And you struggle with it for a long time, and you turn right, left, and center trying to find out who am I good enough, waiting for people to feed you what they think, and if you come across and hurt other people, broken people break people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So to me, it's like all this, Harry, beautiful man, he's gone through a lot. He probably never had to process his emotion or whatever. He's probably been like pneu de réserve, the whole time. He's there, the spare one, waiting for this and that. He wasn't taken seriously or whatever, but
he was always loved by people.
Yeah,
he
was always the joke. Because they have to protect the image of who is next in line. So whatever he does, even if William did something, I believe they would have just put it down to Harry, like make a joke out of Harry, than exposing who is meant to be next in line. They have to protect the image of who needs to be next in line. So any distraction is welcome, kind of thing. So he goes through all that. Like, you're going through your trauma. And if you do not deal with your traumas, you will suffer from PTSD. Suffering from PTSD come in multiple forms that you would actually be looking at. When people say, oh, you attract who you are, and you're constantly going for toxicity and all this, and you don't quite understand, you need to really look into yourself. If you're broken, you're only going to be going toward the broken people. With you knowing or without you knowing. Do you know what I mean? You need to really take your time to heal. And I feel like, poor guy,
Okay. Let me bounce on what you just said. First of all, let me read a comment from Joel that says, Limité was the third nicest neighborhood in Kinshasa.
Oh, okay. That's nice, right?
Joel, it's time for you to return to Kinshasa. It's been way too long. I told you have to go with your family. Kiss the ground. You have to kiss the ground. Olga is saying, I think in his case, being number 2 was his happiness. Actually, he can profit of what he was born without the responsibility. But I admit I admit it was difficult to be the child of someone great, illustrated. But at the same time, the problem is that he lost his mom so early, so he lost his balance. And so all this, but I was about to say something, and I was about to bounce on what you said, and a comment completely made me lose my thought, my train. Ma chérie, tu n'es pas plate. Jancy, shut the... This guy.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, we can do it now.
I know exactly what I wanted to say.
Go on.
If we go from everything that you said, that and I'm why can't we also look at Meghan and ask ourselves if she didn't go through all this as well, because she's just like you?
Why wouldn't we look?
Why can't we look at her and say maybe she's also somebody who just suffered from all that her whole life?
I do believe she suffered. She's still suffering from a lot of issues from her childhood, possibly rejection, abandon. I'm not professional, so I won't be able to determine what it is. Only her and God and whoever specialists deal with her would be able to see. From what I know, she didn't grow up with her dad, and she didn't have that bond. When you come from a broken family, you suffer a lot more.
Yeah, I don't know her life story, but I think her dad was there in the picture from a certain time, and because he was in the movie industry, and then but now she has zero family, and she turned him into somebody who doesn't have family either.
And the little family that he had, because you're broken, as I said in the beginning, you build coping mechanisms that are not necessarily healthy in order for you to toughen up and survive. It's a survivor mode, basically.
So his goofy persona of always being the funny guy, etc., was his way of coping, you believe?
Possibly. Him not giving a heck and just going living his life how he felt like it, possibly, because he was a spare one anyway. Why would anyone care? It's also a cry for attention.
Yeah,
You know, because
I
people
believe.
do think you cry for attention. You guys are not paying attention to me. I have to do. You know, you need to understand. You know, with children, for example, you get children which would always get in trouble, and you will never understand why they're getting in trouble all the time. Like, you're
A
always
call for
doing things to
attention.
piss me off, but then it's a cry for attention. You're giving too much attention to everyone else, and they've actually found out that the only time you pay attention to them is when they fuck up. The only time you pay attention to them, you look their way, is when they fuck up. When they're doing good, you overlook them. And what that creates in the brain is a signal that said, you know what, I need attention. The only way I can get attention is by doing something bad.
I
It's
remember
by
that
fucking up. They would look into me. Do you know
as
what I
a
mean?
as
And
a
it stays.
as a kid, I was always like the way I am and the way I think about my place in the royalty system, if I can call it like this. I've been aware of that since I don't know, when I was 10 years old probably. So because I've been in the me and my cousins would always be at every Mobutu kid wedding, every places like so we when you are part of the high society, you know how to I mean, it's not like somebody told me, yeah, you have to hold yourself a certain way, but I just knew how to be. And even as a kid, when I was like 13, and we were at maybe Mobutu's daughter's wedding, and we would just like stay in our place, not make noise, just stay between ourselves, between all the kids and stuff. But my little brother was always making noise, always like, and I was always looking at him like, what you doing? Like, but he was looking for an attention, and me, I was always looking for zero attention. I was just trying. The less I do, the less problems I can make, because my main problem in life is not to stain the name. When him and people were laughing at his stuff, but I was always the one telling him, stay still. But we just have different characters, and some people are way more careless about those things than others. And us, that whole generation that grew up under that regime, like, we were all looking at each other, like, and the kids of the generals and stuff, like, if you were being a little too goofy or dressed strange or had a défrisage or something, they would look at you like, like, they would look like, like, how you acting ghetto here, like, you see what I mean? Like, c'est quoi ce pantalon déchiré, like, what? And it's so especially when we came back from Europe and from the US, MTV and stuff, dressing hip hop, like starting the dreadlocks, and they would look at us like, what's wrong with the Mokolo kids? What's wrong with, and oh my God, he's talking to the president with this haircut. Like, when I started my dreadlocks and I was with the president, people were like, what's wrong with this one? But the president was like, Dragondi. And I was like, yeah, hi, uncle, and I was dressed with jeans, and at that time you had to have jeans with a completely like open and like completely looking like ghetto, because it was the style at that time, the Samantha Fox style. So I was dressed like that because I didn't know I would be called in the club to come at the reception by like, imagine you in the club and the music stops and they say, oh, Mokolo children, please go to the exit, somebody's waiting for you. And you're like, oh my God, like, and then the music starts again, and then there's the armed security of the president is waiting for you. And you're like, what's going on? I'm dancing, like, I'm trying to be part of the people. What are you guys are doing? And then they're like, your father is waiting for you downstairs. The president wants to see you. And I'm like, I look at my sister. We are dressed like naughty by nature, and she's dressed like Janet Jackson. She had like the big earrings with the Cleopatra at that time, the 80s style. And now we go to a place where everybody is dressed because it was a wedding. It was a wedding party. But the president wanted to see us. So yeah, they just came in the club, they stopped the music, called us. So now we're going in, and now we're going in through everybody. The only two dressed as rappers, and my sister has the, back in the days, a Mooney Love haircut, like the. She had like a fade on the sides and long hair on one side. Me, I had the Bobby Brown haircut with like the V behind every little step, big boots, fat lasses, etc. But yeah, I was there to party, and now I'm in the middle of everybody, and all the kids are looking at me like, what's wrong with these guys? How they come here dressed like that? What a lack of respect. And the president is like, kids, vous avez grandi, venez me voir, yeah, come to my life. And you're like, tonton, how are you? You good? No, it's good. So, you were partying, you were in the club. Yeah, we were in the club, but we came to say hi. Okay. And then you escorted back with armed security with their machine guns and back to the clubs. And you're like, oh my God. And now when you go to the club, everybody's looking at you funny because, okay, you're one of them. So
that must have been uncomfortable.
It's super uncomfortable. For me, it was super uncomfortable, those moments, because because especially when you go back and you are trying to just be a normal kid, but it's over.
It's really hard to come out of it. It's probably not you. Your generation, probably like 2 generations down, will be able to be a normal person. Yeah.
It's and the worst part is as an artist, when I started rapping, so French, if everybody was rapping in French, I was rapping in English. So already there was a problem. Everybody was thinking, who do you think you are? And then me, I was in Paris. So to me, hey, listen, we all rap, we all united by the passion. And I have no clue where you come from. You have no clue where I come from. It doesn't really matter. What matters is, are you a good rapper or not? And I never realized that some people were Congolese and some people from the West Indies, because we are in Paris is a cosmopolitan city. But now, at a point, somebody said, "Oh, do you know who their father is?" And then everybody started hating me. And everybody was like, "What you doing here? You're not supposed to be with us in the ghetto rapping. We wanna stab you. What you doing here? You're not supposed to be around us. You're not supposed to be rapping. This is for people from the street." And me, I was not. That's my passion. I want to be an artist. So now, the artists don't want you to be part of them, and your family don't want you to be an artist as well. Because I didn't work all that much to arrive to the top of society for you to go back down there and rap in the ghetto. So you kind of, so I really understand where these kids are where they come from in terms of all the mental health issue that they could have, and especially, like, I'm talking about my experience, but my experience is 1 million times on a lesser level than them, because we're talking about millions of pounds. We're talking about being a royal. We talk about the UK. We talk about the monarchy, etc., etc. With us is different. But
it's different, but there's a bit of similarity.
Yeah, there's a similarity, but
common ground.
Where I don't understand them anymore. Sorry. I don't understand them anymore is when they, like these last 2 years, I'm like, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. No, listen. And I have this, for him, I believe that, I don't want to say dumb, because that's maybe too harsh. But yeah, it looks like somebody who's being manipulated. That's how it feels to me. And for her, I really feel that she wants to be celebrated through victimhood. and I don't
Yeah.
believe this is the right. I understand that in the woke culture, this is what works, and she's they're making a lot of money from their books, their documentaries. But at a point, what are you gonna talk about? Are you gonna spend the rest of your life talking about other people and being just a being in the contradiction of, I don't want to be famous anymore, I don't want to be a royal anymore, I don't want this, I don't want no accountability, but at the same time I want to talk, and I want to talk about being a royal, being this, being that, and oh, I was this, oh, they were oh, the people were mean to me, oh, this or that. Listen, what about his brother? Didn't his brother lose his mother too? Isn't he also going through something his whole life just like you? And you are acting a little selfish to me.
I mean,
And everybody will have their way and their mechanism. It's very personal. But to me, there's and you know, my radar never lies. They feel super fishy. They feel that they don't know actually what they're gonna do.
I feel like I have to agree on the manipulation bit, but you know, to get to, and I speak from experience, you know, when you have to deal with narcissistic, you know, manipulators and all that.
Yeah, there's a lot of narcissism in there.
Do you know what I mean? Like, when you have to deal with those kind of people, you kind of have, I mean, if you get to deal with them and overcome it and, you know, learn from it, you get the ability to, you know, smell a red flag from a distance. You get to smell and, you know, see things from a distance. A little sign will show you straight away, this is a danger zone, you know. But I do think there is an element of a huge element of manipulation into it.
And
He's
narcissism.
probably not aware of it. Like, if you've been into a manipulative relationship, you would know that from the beginning.
Oh yeah, been
you know,
there.
sweet, and then you get too deep, and then based on his position, this is why I say I feel sorry for him, because being in this position, you're very public. It is already very hard not being public and being in a manipulative relationship. You know, it is really tough, because imagine you're not public, you're going through it, you don't even know, because what they do, those manipulators, they would want to isolate you. They take you away so they can
That's
actually
what we're
track you
seeing.
further. You know?
Exactly. That's what I'm
They
seeing.
need you out. It's like,
I cannot not see it.
Tu vois un troupeau
Yeah.
de, je sais pas moi, de moutons.
De chèvre.
If you want to, if there's a wolf that want to have one of the sheep,
Yep.
he needs it out of the group. Parce que quand ils sont à beaucoup, quand ils sont ensemble, quand il y a l'union fait la force, en fait.
Exactly.
Tu vois? And the moment where they withdraw one in order to take you,
He's gone.
literally break you down, is to isolate you.
Exactly.
The moment you get isolated, you turn your back on against everyone, and everyone's against you. Now you only have them. They're your solid rock. They're everything your life depends on. Now they can play with you, mold you, shape you, do as they wish on you. Tu vois? And being on the public eye and being who it is, because it's not just a public eye, is the spare. C'est le pneu de réserve, en fait. Tu vois? Being that, it's a lot more pressure, because you've grown up. Yes, he's probably worked left, right, and center. He doesn't know what hardship is. And he'll probably never know. Lucky him, he'll probably never know what hardship is. Yeah. But hardship, tu vois, like, struggle for a poor person or a middle-class person is different from a rich person's struggle, for example.
Yes.
You know? It's different people have different levels of struggles, you know?
Yeah.
And for him, already he'd lost his mum. He seems like he didn't get to deal with it, deal with the grieving of it, deal with the traumas of everything that's happened in the household. He never got to deal with it. Well, it seems at least that he never got to deal with any of those, right? Now, you get with someone, unfortunately, c'est toujours les personnes who go through the trauma that always have to attract more problem and end up with a manipulator, right? You end up there, obviously. At first, you're like, yeah, this is all this is
That's
why
all I ever wished.
I ever wish, because those manipulators, they're observant, C'est comme quand tu veux faire des beignets, you drop a little bit to see if the oil is hot enough to make it. And
oh my God, you talking about Mikate?
Yes, of course.
I need a deuxième bureau. No, I'm joking. Okay, continue.
God forbid. But it's like they throw pigs, they observe you, they try this. They come, en fait, they're doing a potion magique, they add a bit of this, let's say you're cooking, you add a bit of salt here. How does that react? It works. Okay, let's mark that down. You tried it, this didn't work. Let's try this, let's try that, let's try this, and let's try that. They now know you. They have an idea of who you are. They have you in the palm of their hand. They know where to press to make you shout. They know where to press to make you cry. They know all. Basically, they've made it so. It's almost like when you go to a therapist and you have to expose your vulnerability. Yeah. It's beautiful. When you're in love with someone, you're in a relationship, you need to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Show your vulnerable side to your partner, because that's your partner for life, right? Those people, those manipulators, would make it so. They will make you so comfortable in order for you to just get naked, emotionally. You're there, naked in front of them emotionally. They know everything about you. They know where to press and where to not press,
That's true.
They isolate you. Once they isolate you, now they start their work. You may realize it. He probably thinks about it like, I'm fucking up right now, big time. But because I'm ready, if I give up
every day you spend in is so much you put in that you can't leave now.
You can't take back.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're causing more damage. Like, you would be causing more and more and more damages. It's the same thing with people, women, abused women in a relationship. They're upset, they're unhappy, they can't leave because they've invested so much,
Exactly.
What is my life going to become? Because those people would make you believe that you're worth nothing, because they've already isolated you. You're rejected from, like Harry, for example, those who are really pro the royalties. He's rejected by, let's say, the whole nation.
Yeah.
He's rejected not only by your family, but the whole nation.
Yeah.
You're already the fool at this point, tu vois? Imagine now, if we take an example of like women who are abused in their household by their husband.
Yeah. I've known
they can't leave because their husband made them feel like you're worthless. No one will ever want you. You will see the most gorgeous woman ever. You're like, how do you tolerate this? You're beautiful, but their self-esteem has been destroyed.
Exactly. And the person knows how to say sorry.
Absolutely.
It's the last time. I don't know what happened to me. And what about the kids? And
yes. And when you want to leave, they play the, vulnerable cards.
Exactly.
Uno reverse card, when it's, I'm really sorry, how am I going to leave? And then you stay, and if you can imagine that, people who are even on a private life, they're not in a public eye like that, and they struggle to come out of an abusive relationship. Now think of him who's a public eye and a spare. Do you know what I mean? And this is why I feel for him. I do feel for him, because I do believe that deep down, he probably feels a certain way, but
listen,
if you're too deep into it.
I saw as Azali Mayele. Who, me or her or the girl? Listen, I do believe that I saw his latest interview with ITV, the UK media. He's letting slip a little bit of there's a lot of contradiction in what he says. At the same time, he's burning the bridges, and at the same time, he's saying that he wants the bridges to be built again. There's a total lack of accountability, but I can feel in a little bit of the things that he does and he says, because I've been there. I've been there where I'm completely delusional, and that the people who tell me the truth, I'm hating them. I've been there. 10 years ago, I was exactly in there. And in the back of your head, there's a little voice that's telling you, what are you doing? No, the other way around. But he's going to take you
But you're too deep into
You're
it.
too deep
You have
into
to
it, so you
admit.
continue, and you have some moments of lucidity where you're like, I have to leave this situation, but then the thought of not being there with that person kills you. Just the thought.
Yeah.
So you have to work on yourself for years just to arrive to the fact that not being with that person is your
You
salvation.
wouldn't leave.
And
Yeah.
imagine now if, and I wasn't in that situation, but imagine if that person now quickly puts two kids. And they have been talking about when she sadly had a miscarriage. She said that they buried the kid,
Who had a miscarriage, sorry?
both of them,
Who?
Harry and Meghan.
They did?
Yeah, apparently they did between the two kids.
Okay.
And
I don't know.
and so they said that they took the kid and they buried it in a secret place in the palace under a tree. And everybody is saying this cannot be true because there's no hospital where they give you a little box at the end. They keep it. It doesn't work like this. And you cannot, like, it's against the law to just put it somewhere in your garden. It makes no sense. So a lot of people are of course, because they put themselves out there, a lot of people are just saying, yo, this makes no sense. And then you start seeing stories of, there was an article from the 80s where Diana had a friend of hers had the same sad miscarriage as well, and she had a way, and back then it was easier, and they put it in the Kensington Palace under a tree, and she helped her, and she told the security, no, it's a little cat or whatever that we put it in a box, whatever. And he feels like everything his mom did, she's trying to recreate for control. It feels like she wrote that book.
Of course.
And listen, as a few days ago before talking, I was more of, it's Club Shada. We take a subject, we talk about it. I'm not invested in it that much. I don't really care that much about it, but I think it's interesting because we can always use that information for our daily lives, all of us. But I know that in the beginning, I was kind of exasperated. Does it exist, that word in English?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, you asked me first.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this guy, I'm tired of these people. Stop. Because
Yeah.
6 hours on Netflix, plus this, plus that. You keep talking, you keep whining, complaining. You're getting
doing
paid
the
to
most.
complain. What do? You an actress, act. You are a royal. What you gonna do? What are you gonna propose to the world now that you decided to not be a royal? What are you gonna do? Or you gonna just milk it? You're gonna milk this, and so you're gonna, and this is this thing where at a point, from somebody who come like me from privilege, and also had to deal with our own suffering, because it might not be the same as somebody who's starving. But you still can have your heart broken. You still can have this, that, or just one simple thing. You can just miss your parents because you never see them because they're too busy.
And that is the feeling of abandonment.
Exactly.
Because a child requires the parent to be there, not just physically, but more so emotionally. And
Exactly.
I feel like with our African parent, it was as long as you have food on the table, clothes on your back.
Exactly.
that's it.
You
Like,
grow up with
should be grateful for
you
that,
grew up
but
with
I
10
need
people that
emotion.
work in the house. And so,
I need the emotional support. I need that. And that's a conversation I've been having with my mum a lot as well on a side story. Because every time she's like, I've done this and I've done that. And I was like, I needed emotion. I needed someone I could trust. I needed someone I could talk to. You were not emotionally available. You were present physically in my face, but you never listened to me. And that's very important.
yeah.
It's very important. But you can carry on.
I don't know what I was saying. What was I saying?
You were talking about parents.
What did I say? I, I lost my track because what you say was so deep.
Sorry.
No, I really believe that these people come to this point where, with everything that they have been doing for all this time, and like I said, yeah, like I got back on track. Even coming from privilege, I know that. Yeah, listen, I personally, I think I coped well with the fact of living my whole life with an absent father, because every time he was there, he really made up for the
The time he wasn't there.
the time he was devoting to politics, and especially now when we spend time together. I really enjoyed that time, of just talking, and my father, ex secret agent, ex this, ex that. It's all the things he did. He's sometimes I want to talk about politics. I know that he doesn't want to talk about it for my own security and stuff, but we can have conversation as adults now, because I'm almost 50 and he's in his late 70s, but still I would feel, and this is why, whenever I talk about my experience, I always preface with, I know that I come from privilege. I know that I never had to skip a meal, etc., etc. I just want to give you my experience for you to know how it feels from that side, the side that you criticize. Oh, yeah. You can't complain. Okay, I'm gonna explain to you why I can complain. That said, when you are in a house that costs 20 million in the richest neighborhood of Los Angeles, Monte, whatever, where you live, with bodyguard security, this 40 million in the bank when you arrive, 100 million from Netflix, 20 million for the book, all that money, and everybody, listen, some people are dying trying to protect Ukraine. Some people are dying trying to for Russia. Some people are dying between Rwanda and Congo. Some people are dying just mining for your batteries, and people have gas costing that much money, etc., etc. Isn't there a moment when you start feeling like I'm doing too much?
No.
Dude, I understand you have your experience. You want to talk about your experience, but at a point, don't you feel that you are out of touch?
No, because if you're a narcissist, you're self-centered. Why should I care about my neighbor? All I care about is me.
I have to call you back in the show for other subjects, because you have to come on camera, because you're a great co-host. I didn't even talk tonight. I was just listening, learning.
No, but it's straightforward. If you're dealing with a narcissist or a manipulator, you can't expect from them to be understanding or step back or see that other people are suffering, because the word for them, the word of evolved around them.
Yeah.
You've had to deal with manipulators, you've just mentioned now.
Oh, yeah.
And you would know from your experience that they don't fucking care about anyone else. It's literally about themselves. It's about themselves. Will make them look good, will make them feel good, how that benefit them, how this and how that about them. The word evolves around them. Life is about them. They're self-centered. Everything that they do is to bring them gratification,
Yeah.
And if it's anything that doesn't benefit them, they have no interest. In fact, they would literally kill your confidence about it, because they don't benefit from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they don't get to see that. It's like people suffer every day. This is the kind of people that will tell you people suffer every day. People die every day. People suffer here and there.
Yeah.
Because if you look at, for example, Rwanda and Congo, the war's been going on for almost 20 years now. No one
10
ever
million
speaks
people.
about it, because people don't speak about it, because the moment it's been spoken about and people are made aware of where the cotton comes from, when all the minerals they use to create all this, beautiful technology that is used.
Yep.
That is it. Congo gets to become rich. Africa is great again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How is that benefiting them? It's not benefiting them.
True.
In fact, they would lose the Western side, everything. They would lose it completely. So it's not benefiting them. Why should they shed the light on it? They will shed a light on Ukraine and Russia suffering more than, most people I speak to when I'm like Congo and Rwanda, they're like, oh, what happens there? Rwanda is an absolutely beautiful country from what I've heard.
It is.
Congo being one of the richest countries on the planet, wealth-wise, as in sous-sol, you think about it, the rate of poverty in the country is actually unbelievable quite. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's out of this world. You can't even imagine such a rich country could have such a, level of poverty.
It's true.
But they can't shed the light on it. Same, the manipulators, they only look into their pocket. How does this benefit me? If I try to do good, if I try to be fair, I'm losing. I can't be fair. Fair is only just, it's a label, it's a plaster. C'est un truc sparadrap. They just stick it there. I'm being fair. You're not really being fair. It's the narcissistic mentality. I just care about me. Full stop. They don't think about other people. There's no way they will tap out of it. They need deep therapy. In fact, I do think that she needs to heal from a lot of things that she's gone through, because having a parent, I didn't grow up with my dad. I don't know what it is like to have a father. My father was never present in my life. In fact, I met him for the first time when I was about 13. So to me, I don't know what it is like to have a father. I never had a father figure. Do you know what I mean? And I've struggled with it a lot. Despite all the other traumas that I've accumulated, the bully that I've accumulated, my mom not being there emotionally for me, despite all of that, I didn't have a father. For a long time, I did believe that it was okay for me to, for a long time, anyone that met me before I was like a certain age, I was like, I don't need a man to start a family. I just, I'm going to make money. My focus is make money. I'm going to work. I'm going to study. I'm going to do, and then make my money, and then I'll have my children. And my children will be mine. I don't need a man in my life. For a long time, I believed that. Thankfully, thank God, God's loved me so much that I didn't actually act on the having my children without a father, because now that I'm a bit older, I get to see that, I was broken. I was broken and I didn't know what was going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just believe whatever. It's like having a leaf on the ground. Tu vois, quand tu as une feuille qui tombe d'un arbre, en automne par exemple, c'est sur le sol, it doesn't actually have a ground.
Yeah.
Si le vent souffle vers l'est, it goes east side.
Yeah.
West, tu vois un peu, you just go wherever. You don't actually have a ground. And me having self-esteem issues, I didn't know who I was. I didn't have an identity. I was doing things to please others. Tu vois un peu? And that is why I fell into those things over and over, meeting manipulator, because they presented themselves a certain way. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I always needed. Do you know what I mean? Being broken, being shaken, eventually getting to look inward, introspecting is powerful. Like, get to introspect, get to look at myself, get to see that actually I've got issues that I need to heal from before I actually begin to build a family. Before I get into any relationship, I want to heal, tu vois? You get a lot of women, especially back home, from a certain age, 18 ans specifically, they would start praying, Seigneur, envoie-moi un mari. Seigneur, où est mon mari? I've started praying to God to not give me a husband until I am worthy to be a good woman. The moment I've realized, because before I never prayed for a husband, it was I don't need a man.
Before you were a good woman, my God.
Before I was like, I'm an exceptional. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I just
that's why you look at me so strange when I met you in Kinshasa. Everything makes sense now.
Before I was like, I don't need a man. I just need to, God, I just need you to give me a good job. I just need you to open doors for me. I need to make this money. And then, when I'm ready, I'll probably go to next, to a sperm bank, get sperm,
oh my
get
God.
everything and just get children for my own. That was my mentality. I think my mom was shaking every time I say that, African mom, and I'm telling her that. You can just imagine how shaken she was about it.
Jancy says.
What does it say again?
Honey, come to me, I will heal you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. C'est comme si vous voulez dire, Habibi, come to Dubai. No, I'm okay. I've healed already.
Oh
I'm
my
good.
God, this
I'm
guy.
really good. But then,
Genre, il faut laisser tous mes bureaux. Il faut laisser. Laisse.
Tika.
Tika, papa, tika.
Yeah.
Tika.
Yeah, but like,
Ma réserve personnelle. Oh, tika, papa. Arrêtez ça.
Arrête. Oh, making me laugh. But yes, I was saying all that just to get to say that many people have built a family. They rush into making a family or getting into a relationship or a marriage and starting a family without healing from their wound. What then happens is you start bleeding on other people. You start bleeding on your own children. Tu vois un peu?
Yeah.
And you would see that through little things. Like, for example, our parent, I don't know how your parent was, but like our parent would insist for us to be a certain way. Mainly the things they felt in life that they really wanted, or the things that they feared to actually step into when they were younger. They would push us, but like, en fait, ils s'en foutaient carrément que genre, we know we want to do it, we don't want to do it. Is that I wanted to be, I don't know, you have to
a
do
lawyer.
It's a must. You need to be great at it. But you didn't dare doing it. You failed in it. Why should I do it? Like, you didn't even ask me. I remember, like, when I went, quand je suis passée en troisième secondaire, and then, tu vois, au Congo, you need to choose a subject you want to focus on. And I chose commercial
economy,
studies.
this, that.
Remember my uncle was fuming. He was like, c'est une section d'idiots.
Oh, damn.
You need to do scientifique, math, physique. I said, hell no, I'm not doing that. What's my benefit in that? Like, I have no interest in physics or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had no interest in that. I was like, economics, commercial study is perfect for me. That's what I want to do.
I didn't have a choice.
Tu vois?
At 17...
Moi, j'étais un rebelle, en fait, à cette époque-là.
Yeah, you were a rebel. I was...
Go back.
I was the good soldier. I was the good soldier. When I got to... I think it was in a sixième, so first of secondary in France. My mom chose for me economics, and then at 17 I was like number one of my class, and I thought it was over.
Wow, amazing. She saw the potential.
And she was like, economics, Sorbonne direct. I was at the faculty learning economics, and only when I got like 20, 21, that's when I told them, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. But I really had a whole explanation of why, what I'm doing. Everybody's doing it, so it's gonna be like it's gonna be full of people, so it's gonna be hard to find a job, etc. I'd rather do graphism and this and that. Those are the study of the future, and I already have the economics, but I don't want to continue like to the masters and stuff. I want to learn this. And actually, in reality, I use economics all the time with my business, and everything I learned from graphic, I'll also use for doing my covers, doing my everything I do today. So I'm thankful for her to choose for me.
Yeah.
But it's true that at that time, if I said, I want to do poetry, they would have told me, pardon?
Pardon?
Nini?
Are you okay? Nini? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's little things like that. People who bleed, people who are broken tend to break other people. If you don't heal from your wound, you will be bleeding on your children, on your partner. Et en fait, tu vois, la technique que moi j'avais applied, c'était en fait que when it was time to register for my course, for example, I applied pressure. I stressed everyone, I need to go. And it's like they didn't get time to think because I was pressurizing them so much. They gave me the money, and the minute I had the money in my hand, I just run. That was it. I run. So they didn't even get to process, like, we give her instructions. So only when I got there, they started calling my phone. I was like, mate, I am not picking up. Let me enroll myself on this course as fast as I can. Do you know what I mean? Like, I came home and my uncle was like, what did you enroll onto? And he was like, no, you need to change. And I was like, too late. There's no change from him.
At least you use that money for something good. And you...
Oh, yeah. It was for my education, obviously. Yeah. So I went and did it. And he was like, you need to change. And I told him, if I am to change, then we have to sign a deal now that all the homework and the exam, you're going to be the one studying for and doing it. Because I'm not planning to study physics and and all this maths thing. I'm not interested in it. So if I'm going to sign up to it, we have to agree that you're going to be doing the study and you're going to be delivering, because I'm not planning to do it. And then he was really upset. That was the first time I actually turned into a rebel. Like, I was like, that's the first time I put my foot down, and I'm not doing it. Like, I do everything you guys want. That's one thing I'm not doing, because it's me. It's me that would have to perform. And I don't want to perform for you guys. But it's those little things, you know. And then I do believe that she has to heal from a lot of things, you know. And she probably suppressed it. Bless her. She's probably gone through a huge amount of issues, you know, having your father in your life, out of your life. I can only imagine how much that could have impacted her in and out of her life. The struggle, the moving, having to rebuild your life, because I cannot imagine, like, you have a parent, you're attached to them. On dit toujours, a woman's biggest love is their father, or first love, whichever one it goes, you know. First love is their father, you know.
I know with my daughter.
Imagine having your father. Imagine having your father and then everything's fine, and then suddenly he disappears. Now you have to rebuild. You're shattered, you know. You do not know who you are anymore. You have to rebuild, and he comes back. And then now you're 50-50 with him, and he goes again. Do you know what I mean? Like, it brings a lot of emotional instability into a child's life, you know.
Indeed.
And I can only imagine how much strength she had to pull out to be able to cope with, and potentially, you know, experiences like that and events like that can turn someone into a self-centered person, you know. It's like, I don't care because no one cares about me. Because from a child's perspective, they look at it as like, no one cares about me. They're doing all this to hurt me. Why should I care about someone else? I only care about myself. Tu vois?
Yeah.
So little things that individuals' brain actually process information completely different, you know. As much as I want to be compassionate with her, I just feel like I am compassionate to an extent, but I just feel like
I don't know.
I am compassionate to an extent, but I still feel you're just doing the most, because in Africa, in Congo specifically, I'll just talk about Congo. We are very strong into training women and, you know, having a woman that is good for a family, because une femme sage bâtit sa maison. It's even written in the Bible. You know, like, une femme that you look for a woman that's actually going to build your home. Like, a woman, you get a lot of stories when, like, a woman entered a broken family, a family where no one got along with anyone, but she came there, she brought peace, you know. They're not besties, but there is peace. People get along, people can gather around a same table, while it wasn't a possibility before. You know, you get women like that, and you want to have that kind of person into your family, because they build it. They come, they see the issue, and they have mutema kibo mama. You know, they put it aside and they kind of bring everyone to the table. You don't want to have someone that walks in, she's like, yeah, fuck you, and fuck you too. Bye bye. I'm packing up and I'm going with your child. To be fair, we don't care about you guys, but then you still want to be entitled, saying, I want my piece of cake.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting because from everything you say, I'm not saying that I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, because I believe that she's really self-centered, but I can understand where she's coming from, maybe. But still, she's
in the most.
For me, it feels like, she makes me think so much of my ex-girlfriend that I'm like, yo, I know who you are, like, and it's never gonna be enough. And this poor guy is deep. Is in deep. Urban Sweet Spot is saying she was good with her father until she was getting married. Interesting.
Really?
That's because at her wedding she had nobody from her side, only celebrities. And her mom.
I didn't know that, to be fair. Maybe I should look into it a bit more.
Yeah, we should look into her biography, because her own sister was like her own half sister, like from the white side, was not invited. Like, she listen, me, I've from experience, these people are trouble, and I really feel that this guy, got manipulated into, and listen, and maybe she's doing it as that's her mechanism. She just turned you into her 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 father, and you become overprotective. When I met my
That's a good perspective, actually. I didn't see it from that side,
see,
but go on. That's
so
interesting.
I turn you into you come here, you turn me into your father, so I become overprotective. And then you say that you have depression, you say this, you say that everything hurts you. Why I'm not being protected? Is it because I'm black? Oh my God. And now I'm doing it's and then you look at me at night while you are sitting on top of me and doing things with your vagina that nobody has ever done before, like even without moving, it's moving inside, and I'm like, oh my God. And you're like, it's you and me against the world. C'est toi et moi. Like, nobody listen.
Doesn't seem right.
That's what I say in all my songs. That's how I get them. That's in my songs. I said this, n'écoute pas les jaloux, all that stuff. That's what I say in all my songs. You and me against the world, and you protect me, and etc. And then if look at his interviews, sometimes he wants to say Meghan, and then he says my family, but you can see that his obsession is her. And when I met my ex-girlfriend, I was really like in the beginning, but then she started explaining to me a life where I thought that she was like an angel with broken wings, and my only goal in life was to repair her wings and make her fly again. And everything I do was never enough, so I kept doing more. And at a point, I woke up after 2 years, I was deep in it. And it took me a full year to realize, I realized, but it took me a full year to leave, to be able to say, hey, I understood that actually all this is an illusion. What you are trying to do is actually this, but you are using that. And I told her I don't blame you, because I understand where you're coming from. You need that. Because same thing. You grew up without a father, this, that, before that. But they will tell you about all their ex as if they were the most evil people in the earth, so that they can tell you, but you saved me.
Yeah.
And then it's over, because you have a mix of ego, you have a mix of feeling that you are and the worst part is when they start doing any sacrifices for you, like leaving their own country for you.
Gosh.
Now you feel like, oh my God, like, before they leave, they're like, or if they leave their boyfriend or whoever they are for you, they're gonna be like, I'm not doing this for nothing. Promise me that you're never gonna leave me. Promise me. And they're crying, and you like, I swear. And it's over. You done. You don't realize, but you done. And it's only, when you start realizing how ridicule it is when you, after it's over, it's been over for 2-3 years, and you meet some friends of that person, and you say, oh, she told me it was the first time she did this, and they start chuckling. They start like, really? And you're like, wait, what? And you're like, wait. And that's when you realize you've been manipulated the whole time. And you know what? When was it? A month ago, where was I? Who I was with? Who was I with who knew her? Oh yeah, I was at a dinner with some friends, and one of the girl that I know, she's actually friends with my wife. She told me, I was friends with your ex-girlfriend. I was like, huh? When? And she was like, oh, listen, when you were in that country at that time, I was there too. In that party, I was like, no, wait a minute. So I started looking at old photos, and I'm like, oh my God, you were there. And she was like, yeah, that was my homie. And I was like, and she was like, she told me out of the blue, you were with the devil. You know that?
You just survived hell.
Yeah, she was like, oh, she was the devil. She's the most beautiful girl in the world, but she was the devil. I'm so happy that you are with your wife now, because that one, she's cool and all, but she's the devil. And I was like, oh my God, damn. But listen, if I talk to you and explain to you my story like in 2012 or 2014, and I'm explaining to you what I'm going through, and you tell me anything negative about her,
You cut me off.
I would just be, you don't understand, You have to understand what she went through. And then once we hang up the conversation, I'm not calling you again forever.
Yeah.
I'm only calling. Listen, I called a bunch of my friends probably 7 years ago to tell them, hey, I'm sorry. And they were like, what you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. Because, hey, listen, I stopped calling you because of that. And listen, you told me that, and that, but you were right. And when I look at this guy, I'm like, oh my God, I know exactly at what position of the game he is. I know exactly what he's going through with that woman. She's making him believe that he's the savior. And it's too late. He has 2 kids. And yeah, I believe that she's not somebody who wants to be the second role in the movie.
No.
So Kate is the enemy. William is the enemy, and Harry, you got to save me. You're gonna become the king. And listen, I wouldn't even be shocked if she start politics in the U.S. in a bit.
Gosh, she's pathetic, to be fair. I mean, but we figured out that she's self-centered, and if she really is, then being a second place or a spare, because now it's not even a second place anymore. It's what, 5, 6 place or something like that down the line. Then that's definitely not okay, because she likes to be the center of attention.
Her father was her primary parent for a good portion of her life. Yeah, I heard that too. And now she doesn't even want to see him at the hospital. Bantuzik says, je viens de vivre la même expérience. Sorry, d'où venait-elle? When I woke up, I woke up in hell. I woke up in hell. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? And I was like, okay, I gotta go in player mode. If not, I'm dead.
I'm not gonna survive.
Yeah. I had to go to London, open the old boxes, go to some countries, find some,
survival kit.
The girls that never forget you. I had to take them out of sleep.
To remind you que tu es quelqu'un.
C'est ça. Ego.
Tu es quelqu'un.
Venir frapper. Bah! I'm here. Je suis quelqu'un. Allez, on y va.
Sometimes whatever works on that, because when you come out of something like that,
yeah, you have to know what you
your self-esteem has been affected. So you need that reminder that je suis quelqu'un. Like, I am, I have this and I have that. I'm more than just this, tu vois. Finding yourself again, believing in yourself.
Femme escroc, d'amour, un poison mortel qui finit toujours par un coup trop dur.
Ça, c'est les gens blessés, les blessés de guerre.
Je ne sais pas si c'est un blessé de guerre ou si c'est un menteur. Je me pose toujours la question. I don't know.
I would have screamed, but I'd wake up all my neighbors if I do. Wow. You need to tell us the truth. Where does he stand?
Je ne vais pas donner son origine ici, mais vraiment, c'est une grâce pour moi d'être sorti de là.
Amen.
Vraiment.
We'll give it to you.
Donne-nous un... Non, tu peux pas donner d'indice, sinon... Faut faire attention à ce qu'on dit sur le chat, parce que ça reste. Ces choses sont enregistrées. Il reste. Well, listen. That was an amazing conversation.
Thanks for having me. Out of the blue, I thought there was an issue. That's why I was so quiet. Like, I was like, is everything okay? Like,
so sweet.
Random.
You so sweet.